What's up, everybody? It's the Arkatech Beatz podcast. We are your hosts, platinum producers, Arkatech Beatz. I am Juggernaut,
I am Mike Trauma D.
and together we make the super duper production team, super duper group, Arkatech Beatz. Every week we get together to talk about things in the music business. As we pivot into 2024, we're going to be talking about everything in entertainment. We're going to be offering our perspectives. We're going to be doing our reactions, and we're going to be talking about everything in media that's going on, and then we can tell you how you to navigate this crazy media situation or this crazy game in entertainment. So as we cap off 2023, as we go into this is our first episode of 2024. There's a lot of craziness going on the internet right now. This is the biggest thing happening right now is the Katt Williams Shannon Sharpe interview.
Yeah.
29 million views in 3 days. It's going absolutely, super viral. You can't even escape going online without seeing clips from this interview. And if it was 3 hours long, for a 3-hour interview to have almost 30 million views, it's insane.
It's a special.
Yeah, it's damn near this should turn into a Netflix special at this point.
Special at this point, right?
Because it almost felt like a stand-up comedy show to a degree. But he's unpacking everything. He's telling his truths. From his dealings with other comedians, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, who else? Michael Blackston,
Cedric the Entertainer, Kevin
Hart. Talk about everybody.
Yeah, he's talking about everybody.
So I want us to unpack his situation, and then also go into some of the other entertainment situations going on with like Taraji P. Henson. Just different things going on in that sphere. So. Right. What you watched the interview? What's your take on this whole Katt Williams thing? What you think is the main takeaway from here? Get into a bunch of takeaways.
I think I watched that interview, and because it's 3 hours, I had to definitely separate my day, and take it in parts because it's a long interview. I had to watch 30 minutes here, another 30 minutes there. First of all, like I like the platform, how they have everything set up, and I like the fact that Shannon allowed this man to just talk. Too many times, and a lot of other podcasts, a lot of interviews, they don't let the person talk, or they just so scared to let the person talk. I guess I'm scared of what's going to be said on the show, and possible, what's the repercussions from that. But the man let him talk. He sat back, let that man talk, and that man, he said some things that you really wondered, like, yo, is this really true? Like, this is just so, out there. Talking about, Steve Harvey and said to entertain, stealing this and stealing that, stealing material from him. And, I'm not going to get, you can watch their podcast for that, but it was a very entertaining, informative, and enlightening interview to listen to. To see how some of the workings behind the scenes, to see the competitiveness between comedians. That's something that, if you're not in that world, you probably wouldn't understand or didn't know that happened. But it was interesting just to see that layer of competitiveness and to see that it's not all peaches and cream. It's not all good as we thought it would be. We thought the comedy world was everybody was kind of together and we did it together, but apparently it's not that. So it was just interesting to hear his take, some of the things that were happening, some of the things that were unsaid. It was very informative, I would have to say. Shocking in a lot of areas too.
Again, man, shout out to Shannon Sharpe for just, like you said, just letting the man say what he needed to say. Mm-hmm. And I think what we were talking about this earlier is that when we have the platform and people get on our platform and they talk, people want to hold us responsible as the platform owner for what the guest says.
Yeah.
Whatever the guest says, we're co-signing what the guest says because we amplified the voice by giving them the platform. And that's not even really the case, man. People gonna say what they want to say, And a lot of times, I think we saw the same thing happen with like Cameron and Mace with the Melissa Ford thing.
Mm-hmm.
Was she said something that the guys didn't like, and of course they had expected Joe Budden to edit it out, and
Mm-hmm.
she stood on that foot. She stood on it initially,
Mm-hmm.
came out, it did what it did, and then she had to either apologize or whatever it was. But you can't hold what people are saying. People are going to say what they're going to say, but you can't really say, hey, you got to edit this out, and you should do this, and you should do that. I just think people should be able to say what they got to say, and it is what
I
it is.
I agree. You can't be I don't think you could be a good platform or even a good media interviewer if you don't let the person just say what they want to say. Like when you're trying to, nah, you don't want to, nah, we want to, you just sugarcoating the whole thing, man. Like the point of these interviews is to really get the artist or the person's perspective. You
Yeah.
really want to know what's going on in that person's head, what they're going through, what they're seeing, what they're dealing with. And you want that truthfully without it being watered down or someone saying, nah, you can't see this part. Because by the time they do all of that, by the time it's delivered, you don't got the full story. You don't got the honest, truthful way the person feels. You have a interview concocted, half fake story, watered down because the interviewer is scared to, oh, I don't want to get my platform canceled. But listen, it's almost the catch-22 now as well because now you're saying things also because you need the clout, you need the attention. So what's it going to be? You want to play it safe or you want to?
I think what we're going to see in 2024 is a lot of truth telling. I
Mm-hmm.
think we're seeing the shift, and I think what Katt Williams did was damn near courageous. And people are going to say, "What do you mean when you say damn near courageous?" Like he is basically was calling out the industry for the practices and um the way that they put people in position and how they gatekeep and how they keep push certain people out and the way that they do things to make it appear that this person is more relevant or more um, hot than they really are. And people are now getting privy to that, and people are like, "Yeah, I didn't realize this person was stealing creative situation. I didn't realize this person was, may have been a plant or so forth and so on." And it's like the way that he was saying some of this stuff, I was just like, man, it sounds crazy at first, but when you start really peeling back the layers, like,
Mm-hmm. Like it's not far fetched.
yeah, it's not too far fetched. But at the same time, the one thing that I think that he doesn't really give enough credit for is that the people who know how to be politically correct tend to get further. And that's what he's not really, he's looking at maybe like a Kevin Hart's success and has to realize that Kevin Hart being politically correct and quote unquote likable
Mm-hmm.
is what helps to enhance or make it accelerate his growth. If you're not a likable character or if you're not a likable person, then of course the powers that be are going to work to suppress, who you are and how you move forward. That's how the shit work. It worked like that in corporate, it work everywhere that way. The
Right.
people that people like are gonna be put up on a pedestal regardless of skill level or talent.
Yeah.
You know? It's like if you're likable, you tend to move further in life. So, you calling out everybody is one thing. You just have to be happy that you had a platform like his that you can do it. I don't think he could have did that on anybody else's platform and
Oh,
would have did what it did.
that's a good point. You know, I agree that look, when it comes to calling people out, you see, for a very long time, you know, when you're given the opportunity to be on a large platform, you're usually mindful of who you're calling out. Even rappers rapping, they don't, normally say the artist's name that they're talking about. They keep it really general, you know. And now it seems like it's the easy way for controversy, because now controversy is what goes viral. You know, anything crazy, anything crazy, or anything that's just out of pocket will go viral. So it also makes you wonder, are these people calling out people's names for the promotion, for the clout, for these moments? Not saying Cat Williams specifically, but just in general. You know, you have a lot of artists, you have a lot of things popping up now that they're doing a whole lot better visually, promotion wise, marketing wise, because they have said that person's name instead of keeping it general. Is that a smart thing? Is that a smart marketing ploy, or is that a very desperate and dangerous thing to do?
Well, cloud chasing has always been dangerous. You know how that goes. Depending on who you cloud chasing. If you calling out certain people who are dangerous, then that's a dangerous, position to take.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, there are repercussions for what we say. That's what people have to realize and recognize, is that while you're trying to make something controversial, or while you're trying to make a piece of content to go viral and you say the most outlandish things, you have to be careful in a situation like this. Is that one, there are going to be repercussions. If you're talking about the Tasha K situation, she
Mm-hmm.
says certain things that get her in situations with lawsuits because she's saying some things that may be considered slander.
Okay.
You know, so when you're talking about these type of situations, then you can get yourself into issues. If you're going to talk about the quote unquote alleged TD Jake situation going on, it's
Mm-hmm.
like you have to be able to deal with the repercussions of that, because I'm hearing that he was taking down folks who had commentary on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got a lot of different things where people are clout chasing, but controversy in content creation space, it's for clicks and views. It does a lot better than selling music, right? In
Mm-hmm.
terms of what we're used to. We used to say beef sells records, and it never really sold any records, right? But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to content creation,
Mm-hmm.
social media,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, the bad news sell fast. The bad news get clicked on. The
Right.
controversy, you can just clearly see right here. This controversial interview
Mm-hmm.
is most likely to finish maybe at 100 million views, which is unheard of, right? If it's
Mm-hmm.
29 million views only on YouTube, when you combine all of the clips and everything else that's been circulating
Mm-hmm.
across all platforms, you got to be at 100 million views.
Wow.
So what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen with this ESPN deal? They're gonna get renegotiated. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's gonna happen with Shannon? Like, these guys have been really smart in creating these YouTube platforms that nobody wanted to do at one point. Remember, everybody
Right.
wanted to be on network television.
Right.
Now these guys are pivoting and saying, "Oh, we're gonna do the YouTube, because now with the YouTube, you get to control your metrics. Now you
Right.
can go back and you can say, hey, I got X amount of views for my personality, and this will make me the hype job, and now you got to pay me this." So Stephen A. and all these people they've wised up, and now they're starting to see that you got to have these platforms. And when you see situations like a Taraji P. Henson and them complaining about pay and complaining about how they're being treated, is because you guys are locked into the antiquated way, and you guys are not looking and taking new media and creating your platform to where you can say that, hey, my celebrity really is what I think it is, and you got to pay me based off of these metrics.
So it sounds like they got to consistently prove themselves over and over again.
I think when you're dealing with advertisers and customers, you do. Like, you can't get away from the hard data. Like,
So so
is that
so someone
selling?
like
You know what I mean?
Taraji, who's complaining about the pay that she's getting in comparison to to other people.
So we need to talk about that like the way we need to talk about it for real, for real. Like she's complaining that she's not getting paid
Mm.
what she thinks she's worth based off of the movies that she's been in, right? And when she compares herself to other actresses of other demographics, that she should be getting paid like how those other actors are getting paid. But
So, Jug, so my first question was, when I first heard that and I saw a listing of the movie she's been in and the some of the movies some of the other actors she's comparing themselves to, my first question was, is Taraji P, is her main roles, her biggest main roles? I'm not really familiar with all of her discography, but for what they listed, is it just black movies?
no,
Are those
remember
her
she
main? Are those her main roles?
no, I mean remember she had like Hidden Figures, which was with Kevin Costner.
Mm-hmm.
And then she had the other joint with she did with Brad Pitt, Benjamin Button. You know what I mean? So she's been in the mix with big names.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of female actresses getting paid with the male actors getting paid, that don't really, you know, those things have never really been on par.
Right.
And a lot of that has to do with the simple fact that hey, if you put Brad Pitt in a movie, it's an automatic number, right? If you
Right.
put George Clooney in a movie, it was an automatic number.
Yeah, those got
Put
automated.
Denzel in the movie, it was an automatic number. Will Smith at some point, those guys were automatic $100 million movies off rip. You know, um, when $100 million used to be the big bar,
Right.
but you put those guys in movies, they were gonna always do numbers off rip.
Right.
With the ladies, you don't know what you're gonna get. It's gonna be hit and miss. Sometimes they get good box office if you're Angelina Jolie, but if you're not that, what's the number you're gonna get? So I see when I see Taraji and them complaining about it, people gonna hate that I say this. Y'all folks need to get on the horn and call Country Wayne.
Mm.
And people gonna say, what? You comparing this actress to? Y'all need to get on the line, call Country Wayne. Every black actress and actor need to have a sit down with Country Wayne to learn how to leverage their new social media so that they can make the money that he making. Stop complaining about these Hollywood studios. Because if you look at that man's platforms, he's doing 50 million views a month on one platform.
So
So
basically, I guess it just comes down to what we've always been saying. It's just having your own thing going.
you have your own thing going. Like you can't be sitting around complaining about pay when you got all these platforms that's paying for your content. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Like even if she vlogged her daily, if she vlogged daily, even if she just went about her day and had
Right.
somebody film about her day, you know how much views that would have gotten her?
That you could have monetized.
You know how much she could have monetized behind that? She didn't have to have a script, nothing. Just go to work and just have somebody document your work.
And then based on that, you could still renegotiate because now people start seeing your value.
Yep.
So you could take that information, that data, renegotiate, or even open up some new opportunities where you could be directed some additional things on, or
And they weren't leveraging her for brand deals. So she said she had to fire everybody, as she should. Like how are you on network television and there's no brand deals?
I'm,
That doesn't make sense, bro. Like so
and
what
it
that
doesn't
looks like
matter
to
what,
me is it looks like an internal sabotage job to me.
but also it doesn't matter the type of uh, film or the type of roles she's playing as far as it comes to brand deals.
Yo, it matters, Mike, but you have to realize that even if we're talking about let's say we're talking about she's doing black stuff, right? Because that's where you're going with it, right? You saying basically she's doing
Yeah,
she's doing too much Negro shit. And because
that's what
because she's
I'm
doing
playing
that,
devil's advocate.
yeah. But because she's doing that, they can't. There's no money in that. I call bullshit, and I'm gonna tell you why. Right? Is you have a lot of other folks who associate themselves or who basically create some products or something else to sell alongside with their celebrity, right? Let's take example. Let's say, for example, I know you're gonna say you're gonna hit me in the head with this. Say this is the other demographic. But let's take a Kim Kardashian,
Let's hear
right?
this out. Let's hear
Right.
this out.
Who's not in any movies,
Uh huh.
just reality TV show. One reality TV show that's run for a decade, but is able to leverage that reality show, put her name on products, Skims, this, whatever, turn that into $1 billion situations. Kylie
This,
Jenner, same situation.
but
Same. So look, so I'm not saying that you're gonna do $1 billion, but you're telling me you can't do, a percentage of that number, 1% of that number, 5% of that number, based off your own products. What's the product that? What's the product that's synonymous with Taraji P Henson?
I
That
don't know.
none. Even Mary J. Blige got a liquor. You know what I'm saying? George Clooney them got a liquor. The Rock got a liquor. You know what I'm saying? Like people are not really putting it together.
She could have came out with a wine.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the white chick from um Real Housewives, Bethany Frankel, she got the skinny taste line, wine, everything else. So you got people like Nene Leakes and them that's complaining like, damn, how come she lived like this and we were on TV at the same time? They leveraged their celebrity. They turned their celebrity into products, and then they sold products. You guys can't just continue to just keep shucking and jiving on the screen and don't sell no products. Where's the products, bro? Even if you're in this business, in the music business, where's the product? The music is the product, but you're gonna need a little bit more. That's why guys is creating merch, right? Live experiences, so forth and so on. What's the product that's gonna be incorporated with your celebrity and your art so that you can basically maximize and get more money?
Yeah,
So
especially if
when
you're
I so when I see her complaining, this one didn't do this for me, and this one didn't do that for me, and so forth and so on, and I should get paid what I'm worth, it's because you're not looking at it the way you're supposed to look at it, which
you
is,
saying, just say it, just say it, just say it. She's lazy.
ooh, I ain't say
Just
all
say it.
that. I ain't say that. It's the wrong team. Cause somebody she worked too hard to say that she's lazy. It's the wrong team. It's the wrong team. It's the antiquated team. It's the antiquated team. It's a lot of the actors that I continue to keep seeing them turning their nose up to the new media shit. They want to
So
do it the
so so
old
so
way.
so it's her team
Yeah,
that's
it's
not.
the, it's that team. It's that team again of those folks who are built into the old system. If you look at the whole situation going on with Terrence Howard suing CAA, right?
Oh, that's another thing.
Yeah, that's a whole nother situation.
We
He's
get into
suing
that.
people. Yeah, he feeling like he should have got paid more and so forth and so on. Yeah, you should have got paid more. Those people are technically they're not there to maximize your salary. They're
So
there
so so her
to
team is
protect the
lazy.
studio.
So her team is lazy. Her team ain't out there making it happen. Her team ain't pushing forward.
That's what it is. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
But
And I
remember,
think,
Doug, it's like that goes back to one of our pods where you get a manager or you get an agent and they're basically reaping the benefits off of what you did prior.
yeah,
You know, so let's say you're an artist or a producer or whatever. You out there grinding and you made some progress. You're in this show, you're in that show. You did it on your own. You did it on this show, you're in that movie. You've got the attention of this new manager, agency, whatever. You signed to them, right? Now the agency puts all of your accomplishments that you did on your own on their website. We represent this guy. He got this, and the third. That agency looks like from the outside of that, oh, that person, that agency is responsible for a lot of these accomplishments.
yeah.
And then the agency or the manager sits back and waits for a phone call. They may talk to some partners that they have, but they, for the most part, they sit back and wait. And you, as the artist, are you wondering what's going on? And I think in Taraji's piece, now that you're explaining it, it doesn't seem like her team was pushing forward, was
They were
making
waiting. They were waiting for the phone to ring.
waiting for the phone to ring. They said,
Waiting
"Oh,
for-
she's in this show that's prime time. Just wait for the phone to ring. I'm chilling, waiting for the phone to ring."
Yeah, like nobody was actively out there pursuing
Right.
the opportunities, and I think all of us fall into this trap early. I think a lot of us fall into this situation, especially when you start to get the media traction. Like when you start to get like an article here or something here, or you get some media coverage, and it starts to feel like you're coming into your celebrity. Then you feel like, okay, once I get to this platform, let's say I get a Rolling Stone, you know, the phone's supposed to start ringing. Or once I get into, for us when we were coming up, it was a source, right? Once you get into the source, like, oh, the phone is
Right.
going to start ringing. And that's not the case. That's not the case. Like those things will happen for you, and it'll help to validate some things for you. But you have to actively pursue your opportunities.
Yeah, especially if it's the opportunities that you really want. If you have a goal, there's certain opportunities you need to look for. Like every phone call you get is not going to be the right phone call. And
Right.
it's just like attorney Bernie Resnick said, the first deal is, not always going to be the good deal. Like you don't
Right.
have to take the phone call. You don't have to take the deal. You don't have to take it. Like if it's not good, it's not good. And just because you're popular and you get a couple phone calls, it doesn't mean those opportunities are right. You have to actively search for the right opportunity at times.
You don't see enough of that happening. And again, I think that a lot of these entertainers drop the social media ball. I think that they
Yeah.
dropped the social media ball so bad. I see so many actors and actresses out here who are absent on social media. Absent on social media.
We
And then
got
when
it.
you go and then when you go back and you look at a Country Wayne situation, and I have to keep bringing him up, is because he has perfected um earning money off of social media, because that's basically the first cog in his wheel. We're looking at somebody who's basically producing 10 pieces of content every single day,
Is this a
right?
generation? Is this a generational thing?
It may be because he's younger, right? And 10 pieces of content every single day. The content is about 4 minutes average, give or take. So 10 pieces of content every day. It generates on one platform like YouTube close to 50 million views a month. There's no television show on network television that does that kind of views in a month,
Mm.
right? So when it's time for him to negotiate advertising dollars, how much they gonna pay him? That's the difference. And then it becomes passive. That's what other people aren't talking
Right.
about,
Right. Then
right?
comparison.
It becomes passive. So Facebook is going to generate millions of dollars a month. YouTube is going to generate millions of dollars a month.
Right.
TikTok is going to generate millions of dollars a month. Then he goes on tour. Then he
Mm-hmm.
sells the merch. Then he does the
Look,
traditional
stand up.
media, which is the
Mm-hmm.
Netflix specials,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
Put a movie out. See how that work? So he can do the traditional route, which is, hey, put a movie out, do this, go out, so forth and so on, do it
Right.
Netflix, and still have the social media busting in the background with the merch, with the touring, with everything else. This now turns into a machine where he's going to eclipse the earnings of other actors and actresses that who think that he may or may not be a
Right.
real comedian because he's not here
Right.
or there. Like that shit don't matter. Like that's the situation, is that people are not looking at new media and looking at how new shit is. And it translates into so many different areas. Even if you go into something like, we'll go a little off, but
Mm-hmm.
something like boxing, right? People say,
Mm-hmm.
well, we talk about boxing. You'll talk about, let's say, maybe a Tank Davis who just got awarded he got awarded a vacated belt for one at 135 pounds. He didn't fight for that belt. They just gave it to him because somebody vacated it, and he was the what you call it. But him himself, he's not even fighting for belts. He fights for pay-per-view. So before you would say the best fighter fight the best fighter for the belts, they don't even do that anymore. They use their social media, they leverage their social media to get high pay-per-view situations. And they use popularity, leverage popularity into pay-per-view.
Wow.
All right. Like a Ryan Garcia or who else. So they use popularity to bolster the pay-per-view numbers.
That's like the record deal situation.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not even anymore about who's the best fighter.
It's not the talent, it's not the skill. It's who's popular.
It's who's popular and who's leveraging the popularity and monetizing the popularity and turning it into cash.
See, this is
content into cash, and that's really what it needs to turn into, like content to cash. Nobody's so when I see the actors complaining about how destitute it is, are you guys on Amazon influencers? Are you guys connecting with all of the clothes that you guys are putting on? Are you creating the hollering at these? Is there someone in your team that's connecting and say, hey, so and so is going to wear so and so brand? They're going to be in front of X amount of people for this premiere, so forth and so on. They want to wear your clothes. What can you do? Is you going to send them a bunch of free clothes? Right? They're going to make user-generated content for you, right? They're going to take pictures. They're going to do it. So they're going to basically make a commercial for you because when they go on the red carpet, it's a commercial. You guys are not getting paid for it. You're wearing it anyway.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So it goes back to what I was saying, is this a generational thing? Are the older or the seasoned artists just not?
No, you can't sit here and complain about this joint right now. So what I expect to happen with Katt Williams and these guys now, Katt Williams is supposed to get a special. If his team is on the game, he's supposed to get a special. If he writes like he says he writes and so forth and so on, he's supposed to be producing some movies because he's hot as fish grits right now.
He's on tour right now,
right?
What
they're supposed to be doing is they're supposed to be taking whatever he's doing daily and turning it into social media content. Because now he got the eyes, right? Yeah. What's Katt Williams' YouTube? Does he have one?
Right. Yeah.
If he were to open up a YouTube tomorrow, he gets 1 million subscribers and it earns money in his sleep. That's just me. You can pay people to follow you with the camera, bro, with a phone all day, bro. Just bam. And just say shit all day.
Say shit all day. Yeah. It'll be like a part 2.
It'll be like a part 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll be like the gift that keeps on giving.
Keeps giving.
It's like, and people are not realizing that this social media engine, man. Like, yo, I can't even believe this shit is at 30 million views in 3 days.
So
that's like the numbers that a new song does, like a new hit, like a new hit of Bad Bunny or something. They come out like 30 million views in one day, not a 3-hour interview. What? Are you kidding?
I think a lot of people are definitely still stuck on the old ways of doing things. I think a lot of professionals are used to, for example, in the entertainment and film industry, I do a movie, supposed to get paid what I'm worth, supposed to get this and be able to live, and that's it. It's the same thing in the music business too. Oh, I made this record, I should be able to eat off that alone. I should be good. Artists, I should be able to get a record deal, put out an album, and do some shows, and be good with that alone. Those things, this day and age, especially with the economy the way it is, on top of that,
the way that those things used to work, and the only reason that some of those things worked is because you had something that was phenomenally successful, right? So if you had a #1 record that came out, yeah, you're gonna eat. right? You had a number one record, right? But how? What's the chances of that?
But then the what was a number one record then versus what it is now? Because the bar is a whole lot different.
It's a whole lot different. So
Right.
that's what I'm saying. So now that the bar is lower,
hmm A number one
right,
record doesn't mean as much as it did
as
then.
it used to, right?
Right. Right.
So, but what I'm trying to say in that kind of context is that because of the way social media and everything is, you don't have to have that astronomical hit to, you know,
Right.
make some change.
Right.
The difference now is that, yeah, you may have to put out a little bit more,
hmm
but if you have a catalog
hmm
that does a decent baseline number, you got something that's sustainable. And I
Right.
think that a lot of folks are not looking at, they're not looking at like the content that you would put on YouTube or the content that you would put on TikTok or whatever. They're not looking at it at that as catalog. Like that is
hmm
catalog. You know, like people will be watching movies or watching, I'm sorry, content on YouTube that's 3, 4, 5 years old. Like
Yeah.
the YouTube algorithm doesn't work like some of the other ones. Whereas if it's an old piece of content that it's not gonna come up in the search engine, it does.
Yeah.
YouTube recommends it all. YouTube just doesn't recommend what you just got put out last week. You know, so again, it's one of those things where if you're making the right type of content, you're gonna continue to eat. You know, so I look at what he's doing, and he's talking about a lot of these actors that are like, like this person can't act, this person can't do this, this person can't do that.
hmm
It's like I get it, but what's really supposed to be happening at this point is Ice Cube came out the other day and he said that Katt was saying some stuff that was true, right?
hmm
He also said, "Hey, why nobody ain't call me to be in a movie? Why I got to write and produce everything to be in for myself?" He's like, "I would have liked to have been in some other people's productions."
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So basically, he said he had to create his own opportunities, and he created opportunities for everybody else, but they weren't doing what he was doing. What if everybody had done what Ice Cube did? What if the Steve Harveys had did what Ice Cube did? What if Kevin Hart seems to be the only one that's really out here doing that on a larger scale. But what
hmm
if more people did what he's doing, Mike Epps and so forth and so on? Like, what if all of them created the content that each of them could eat off of? If we would have had something a whole lot better, we won't be seeing people complain like how Taraji complaining. Like, you guys are not creating the content. Now, on the flip side, the people that are creating the content, Tyler Perry, so forth and so on, Cat Williams was saying that he's not making no stars from their content. What do you think about that? When he says that, hey, people, you on Tyler Perry's situation, but ain't no stars being made from his content. Why do you think that's the case?
That's a good take because if you look at that whole world, it's his world only.
Only.
You know, that's probably the way he does business. You know, that's the way he probably controls his thing and is able to have what he has. You know, in in certain scenarios, and I hate to say this, but in certain scenarios, when you reach to a certain level of success and you start bringing people in, sometimes these individuals end up damaging your brand. Sometimes these individuals do things that doesn't coincide with what you want with your brand. You know, he probably just needs to control his situation. And that's it. This is his shop. He has it a certain way, and it works for him. And then he's satisfied with the way it works. And if you want to do something different, if you want to be a star or do something different, take this opportunity and go elsewhere. Create your own thing. It comes. He's almost doing what Hollywood does.
That's another thing that I kind of don't like. Like we sit here and we talk about we every week we get on and we talk about how the industry is fucked up.
Right.
We say it's this, it's that, and the third. And then when we doing the deals, or if we decide to make our own labels and so forth and so on, we turn around and give people the same fucked up deal.
Some do, some
You
do,
know,
but
majority, and then we say it's the name. And then we're gonna say it's in the name of business.
but you know what? But you know what? Also, you give a you give an opportunity for someone, and too many times you see artists turn around and spit on the artist that gave the deal in the first place just to get the opportunity. Look, these deals are not perfect. These deals is designed a certain way, but you have to use these opportunities, or you don't have to use the opportunities. But if you choose to, you use these opportunities to level up, to get yourself in a certain space, so you could create more opportunities, open more doors. A lot of people think that they hit the lick and that's it. That's it. Game over. Your deal is not going to be great. It's not. You get what you could get. You move around. You take that publicity. You take that that celebrity, and you make new deals. You take the opportunity. You think about all of these artists that were B artists that were signed to an A artist. You got to take all that information, all those tours that you've been on, all those things you've gone on, all those meetings you had, and apply them. Instead of arguing and complaining, oh, he gave me a shitty deal, he gave me a shitty deal. Dude, he gave you a situation so that you could get in front of these cameras to meet and greet other people, to make new deals. We wouldn't know half of you if it wasn't for that person. And I think a lot of times, a lot of these artists sit back and complain because they think that the other person is supposed to do this for them. Tyler Perry's situation, okay, they ain't create no stars. Maybe it's those actors and actresses. Maybe it's them.
It's too many, bro. I can't sit there and say that. It's too many. And that's part of the beef with everybody. The beef with him, the beef with Oprah is like, yo, like, how do we have this type of situation where, you got these situations where it's like, why aren't these actors, why are they being treated a certain type of way, especially if you look at, Tyler Perry's history or Oprah's history? Like, okay, you know, why are we paying them at this particular scale? Why is it at this particular situation? Why does a Taraji P. Henson have to almost walk away from The Color Purple before they actually pay her what she's quote unquote due?
Because it's somebody else's situation. When it's somebody else's situation, for the most part, you almost will you ever get paid your fully just due, or how much you think you should get? When it's somebody else's situation, I doubt it. I think you could come close. But if you feel you're worth 100 million, they gonna pay you 100 million. They're not. You may get close, but it's not your platform. And we've been saying this from podcast to podcast. If you're upset, if you're angry about what you're not getting, then you got to just create your own situation. You got to call your own shots, make your own rules, pay yourself what you feel you're worth.
I guess the idea is that there's a thought that we're supposed to be looking out for each other, but as you can clearly see, and as people are supposed to basically pay attention to, is that it's every man for himself, every woman for themselves.
To an extent, what I'm saying is, for example, what you seem or what you deem as looking out could be different from what another person's looking out is. If I tell you, if I give you a beat for free to go do your thing with, we don't charge you upfront, free, nothing. Just here, hold that, make it pop. I may say, I looked out. I gave him a record that I didn't have to give him. I could have sold it to him. Yeah. That's literally money out of my pockets. That's literally food off of my plate for my child. Like, I'm in my eyes, I looked out. the other person may not consider that a lookout. They may consider that something else. Oh, he's supposed to. You know, we boys, we people. He's supposed to give me that. That's not a lookout. He's supposed to give me that.
He got thousands of beats. It doesn't matter.
He got thousands of beats. You know, that jewel he gave me, he was supposed to tell me about that. Like your time of the day and the time you have that don't count for something. Oh, he was supposed to take my phone calls. He sat down on the phone for me for 30 minutes telling me stuff. He's supposed to do that. No, that's my time. I could be doing something else with my time. I could be making money with that time. To me, that's a lookout. To them, they may not be a lookout. So that whole perception of looking out is subjective, depending on who is looking at it or who's receiving it. And I think that's part of the problem. There's a whole genre, there's a whole group of people that feels that they're entitled. Yo, if a major artist signs you, then that major artist's eyes, he looked out. He technically doesn't need to do anything else. I signed you, your name's aligned with my name. I took you on some tours. I really don't need to do nothing else. I put your name in lights with mine. You know, you got some money off of the tour. You're out here performing. You got some free studio time. I did a bunch of features for you. What the fuck else you want me to do?
It's real shit.
You know, so it's like
it's real shit. When I look at these type of situations and I just see everybody just like you said. At first I was like, is this entitlement? I'm like, is this entitlement?
Oh,
because I see 50 Cent now jumping in saying, hey, Taraji, Terrence Howard, you know, I got something going on. Come jump on my situation. I'm gonna take care of you. Now I think he'll pay them more because 50 is known for that. Like I think he's gonna pay them more money, you know. But again, you know, he's a different type of animal, and I think because he understands to control more, he can pay more, right? I'm not sure on what Oprah's situation is on the back end. You know, they may have antiquated deals,
right?
You know, like that. I think that may be the situation. Like in some cases, that they could probably pay more, but they may lock themselves into certain pay structures that isn't really beneficial. It'll help to get the product out there, but you know, this is new media, man. It's new. It's a new day. I think people need to really start really leveraging what's going on out here. Stop, like you said, stop complaining. Like it's like,
yeah, and I think certain artists they don't understand the business, and I don't just mean the typical just the business, but they don't understand that. Listen, if I spent this amount on making a movie, like I gotta get this back.
Bro.
And bringing you on board and paying you this amount does not guarantee that at all. You know, like bringing you aboard as an actor and actress or doing this does not guarantee I'm going to get that. I may get this, and your track record shows this, that, you know, I'll get this back. But anything more than that, it's my ass.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play safe, and I'm only giving you this. Because I got all this other stuff I need to do when it comes to running a business. I got other projects. I got staff. I got marketing and promotion. I got this, that, and the third. There's a lot of things that got to go into play, not just you.
Man, yo, man, you sound like the label, man. You sound like the studio right now, bro.
I'm just saying.
You don't sound like you're an artist. You don't sound like you're an advocate for the artist, son. And I don't like how you sounded right now. You sounded like you want to continue with the slave ship. And you want to keep exploiting our black actresses and actors and our black musicians. You want to keep exploiting them, keep saying that, you know, we running a business and we don't want to pay folks the way that they deserve to be paid. I think they're not being right.
No. What I want and what actually is not always the same thing. What we got to realize that sometimes things are what they just are, and we can't sugarcoat it. You got to tell them what it is. You know, if this company is not paying you this could be the reason why. You know, And they have to look at it and see that, appreciate that, and say, you know what, okay, if that's what it is, then that's what it is. But now, to satisfy myself as an artist or entertainer, I understand that, I see that from that side of the table, and I got to go do my own thing. You know, it has nothing to do with, oh, I want you to do this, or I want you to feel this, or I don't want this to happen. No, you have to just recognize what the story is. You know, we got to recognize what's going on the other side of the desk. The other thing that's going on that's out of our control. There's other obligations. There's other things. Sometimes we sit here and be like, oh, me, this. Like, yo, this sometimes it has nothing to do with you. Sometimes, yo, we got a whole lot of things going on, and you don't know the business enough. And I'm not gonna sit there and explain it to you, but you're only gonna get paid this. This is this is we in the business to make money, and I cannot take that risk on you. So, as the person on the other side of the fence, they have to say, you know what, I need to get this bread, so I'm going to use this opportunity, but I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to have my own platform. I'm going to put up my merch. I'm going to put this out. I'm going to have my content, so I could reap the benefits of this, reap the benefits of that, reap the benefits of that.
Our attorney had said something in the interview. He had said, "He who holds the goal makes the rules."
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Whoever has the goal makes the rules.
It's like, you know.
And when he said that, I chuckled and I said, wow, like, you know, he's right. He's like, the person who has the money, the person who takes the risk, makes the rules. Period. Point blank.
It's Jug. This thing is as simple as a parent telling a child what they cannot do in their household. This is my house. These are my rules, and you will go to bed at 8 o'clock because I said so. It's fundamental. It is as simple as that. So the child lashes out. Well, then I won't be underneath your roof anymore. There's the door. It's that simple. You want your own rules? You create your own house, your own platform. Now you're the king of your castle. You create your rules, charge what you want to charge, you pay yourself what you want to pay yourself, and that's it. Instead of crying about, oh, this person didn't pay me, oh, this person didn't do this, we gotta stop looking at others for for them paying us, for them making us feel our worth, and it's crazy.
Validation, everything.
Oh, it's validation. It's crazy. Oh, you know, the Rolling Stones, they put out what, the list of the top albums for 24, and the top hip hop albums, and everybody's up in arms, and I'm just like, yo, why are you worried about what they're saying? You make your own top 10 or top 20 list, and you put it out and say that's what it is.
Because now you have the platform to do it. Before you didn't have one.
Oh, the Grammys. Oh, this award show. Oh, this and that. They're not recognizing us as being talented. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. They create your own thing. Yeah. And you award who you want to award. It could be as small as having your own little website and saying, my website, you know, says that this is the top albums of 24. These are the top actors and actresses of 24. This is the so-and-so. And you put it out there. And that's what it is. And you'll be amazed at the amount of people that would agree with you.
Yep. It's real.
And then all of a sudden it becomes gold.
It's real. It's a new day, man.
It's the five mic in the source. It's a new day. You don't gotta conform to them. You don't have to be underneath their thumb. You don't have to, but you have to have your own. And I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. It could be uncomfortable. If you're an old school person, it could be uncomfortable.
Oh, shit.
You know, running around creating content, you know, being on the screen, showing your private life sometimes. It could be very uncomfortable. It could be something that most people who's been in this business for a long time do not want to do. Doesn't come secondhand to everyone. The new generation,
They on it.
they on it.
They
They
love the
on it.
camera.
I love the camera.
They
I,
love the camera. A lot of us don't like the camera,
I
man.
like
We
it.
never, we didn't want to be in front of the camera, and
One of
all we want to be able to turn it off.
yeah, one of the benefits of being a producer at that time was the fact that you could be in the mix here and there with who and I, make the contacts, make the money, you know, feel good about the music you're producing, and still go to the mall without being harassed because they don't really know who you. Yeah, your name's in the credits, and who knows. You could go to the movies. You could do this. You could do that without having to be harassed or someone coming up to you. Oh, you didn't have that. So being a producer was really behind the scenes, and you were able to make your coin and feel good about that. But now with social media, you got to be in the forefront. You got to, yeah, I did this, I did that. You got to show off what you did for the simple fact of creating
Off
opportunities.
what you got paid,
Yeah,
and all of these things where we normally wouldn't have done any of that. All that stuff is supposed to be private because in our days, you showing people how much money you're making, you setting yourself up for some sort of other
yeah.
types of failure. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a new day, man, where you have to pivot. We have
So
to start to accept what this new media calls for in order to
yeah,
be relevant and successful.
yeah, I get it. It's not easy. And if you've been around a while and been able to pivot here and there, it does get tiresome because it does feel like, yo, you're moving with the fad. Like, oh, this is the new thing now, you got to get on that. Oh, this is a new thing now, oh, we got to get on that. And, you know, that is why we also said, and we also talked about how being in the music business, you definitely have to have a strong foundation and support system because you're literally jumping here and there, and you could really lose yourself if you're not careful. You could become a slave to this algorithm. You could become a slave of, I got to make content. I got to do this. I got to do that. And you can really lose yourself. So
Remember you said it before, digital slaves. And
yeah,
I'm starting to see more people talking about that whole, digital algorithmic slaves. You know,
it's
is
it's
as the algorithm the new 9 to 5?
yeah,
People are saying that's the new 9 to 5. It's the algorithm and the
yeah,
digital slavery for content creation. And a lot of folks are saying, like, I was talking offline, that hey, shit ain't fun.
yeah, because you're pimping out yourself. You're pimping out your private life. You're pimping out what's your peace, your privacy. Some of the things you cherish. You're kind of pimping it out for the hopes of going viral, to getting attention, in hopes of likes and possible sponsorships and deals and monetization and those things. Because we all know that you do something or say something that's controversial and you get those views. Now you can monetize it and possibly get sponsorship deals, and those things are things that can change your life. But the things you got to go through to get there is just like, whoa, is are you willing to do that? Put yourself on the front line. And in this era, it's dangerous too. If you have a
So,
family, those things you got to think about.
so which one is it? So should we be saying that folks should be exploiting their social media, or should they not exploit their social media? It's like we have to make sure that we send in the right message, because from our vantage point, we realize that if you're already in the business, or if you're already in media, if you decided to be a creator or artist, then there is no choice but to leverage social media. You don't have a choice if you want to be successful. At least that's what I
Well,
mean in that context.
yeah, Jug. I don't even know if I have the answer for that because like I could say, you know what? Let's call out the names of the wackest rappers and just say their names and say she's garbage, he's garbage, he's trash, he's always been trash, and we'll our views will go up. People start commenting, things will go crazy,
Probably need to do
and
that next week. We should
and
probably
then
say, hey, the top horrible artists of 2024 and the
and
top.
then and then we could sit back here and talk and say, hey, our views went up. We did this, we did this, we did this because we said their names. And then you have to wonder and be like, yo, how do you feel about that? How do you feel that I gotta say this, or I gotta jump into that frying pan and call people out and get controversy just for this? Like, how do you feel about that? Some people are like, I don't care. I'm gonna say whatever I say.
It's my opinion.
My opinion, and it's just crazy because in this day and age, like your opinion is not even considered an opinion anymore. It's considered disrespect. It's considered hating. It's considered clout chasing. It's considered, you know, like D1 called out Meek Mill and called out Rick Ross.
Put it in the right
Right.
context. Christian rapper,
How do
Christian
you know?
conscious rapper D1 called out gangster gangster rappers Meek Mill and Rick Ross, and
You know,
said that they need to be more responsible, right, or
mhm,
something to that effect, that they need to
right,
be more um what you say, more aware of
aware of,
what they're
mhm,
promoting.
right. So and on one side of that, you could say, okay, this guy is speaking some truth, because of the way society is and the way, what's happening in music and their success level where they're at now and, their influence. Maybe he has a valid point at that, right? So, and on another side, some people may say, dude, nobody knew who you were, but now you decide to say these guys' names, and now all of a sudden you have you're popular. You're even more popular than you were before. Now everyone knows your name. So it's like, well, what is it? Is it both? You know, Cat Williams, he calls out
Everybody.
everybody and has the biggest views, and then you still got to have that conversation. Like, man, if he didn't call those people out, would this be as big as it is?
Nope.
So, do you call out or you don't call out? What is the purpose? What is the agenda?
In 2024, shit, we calling them out. That's what we
because
about to do. We
because
about to start calling everybody out.
we did have a conversation offline saying, listen, maybe the reason why the business is the way it is and the why content and music has been so horrible is because they're not being called out. Like the gatekeepers are no longer there. And there's no checks and balances, and nobody saying, yo, this is trash. This shouldn't come out. There's nobody there to say that. Everybody has a right to come out and put music out and give it to the masses, and the ignorance fuels the ignorance. The ignorant fuels and feeds the ignorance.
You have a right to put your music out and put out your art, but we should also have a right to have an opinion. I think that's where the lines sometimes get a little blurred. No one wants you to have an opinion on their art. And that's just not how shit's supposed to be.
Right.
It's like everybody's supposed to be able to have an opinion, right? I'm supposed to be able to look at a person's music or their art and say, I don't like it. But you're supposed to be able to tell them why you don't like it.
Right.
Right? Because if I can't tell you why I don't like it, if I say, oh, it's just not for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That can be part of the situation, but we're supposed to be offering more constructive criticism so that it doesn't feel like it's hatred and it doesn't feel like it's a tear down. I think that's where the balance needs to be. If we can give a constructive criticism, I can say, hey, I don't like the way this guy raps on this record.
Oh, I'll just come out and say it. Like
Yeah,
I don't like the content in Sexy Red's music.
right,
I don't like that type of music. I don't like what she's saying.
right. If that's what you're saying, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Now, does that have any? That has no bearing on her rapping ability, right?
Right. Because
So,
if her content was different, maybe I feel different.
right,
I don't like the content. I don't like a woman rapping about calling themselves a hoe and this and that, and you like, I'm just, and then the imagery that follows it. I don't like it, but I can tell you exactly what it is.
right.
But that does not mean that she cannot rap at all.
Right. That doesn't mean
It,
anything.
it doesn't mean
It
that
doesn't take away from the way that she
it
hits the
doesn't
beat, the way
right. It
that her
doesn't mean
rhyme
that she
cadence
actually
is, her melodies.
right.
It's just the content that we don't like.
Right, because all of those other areas I feel is
Is
pretty
where it
good.
need to be.
You're right.
So,
And but that's not hate. Like
no,
you see how I explained that? Like that's not hate. That's not clout chasing. That's not any of that. But unfortunately, you could still explain it like that, and somebody will be like, "Oh, you're hating, or you're out of touch. You don't. This is what it is." And blah blah blah. Or Little Kim
it's
did that in the day, and this and that and the third, and you know.
little Kim did it. Was it for you still? Not really.
Yeah, that's true too.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like if
yeah.
people really, if you be honest about
I
it,
didn't buy it. I didn't buy Little
I
Kim
didn't buy that
album,
either.
or I didn't pump a Little Kim album in the car
Yeah,
either. So yeah,
you know what I'm saying? If she had a strong feature on a Mobb Deep record, yeah, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
but this particular record, we not rocking with that record. We may be rocking with this one,
right,
or Foxy may have done this one. We like
hmm
this feature, we like
yeah,
that. We don't like this one
right,
because of the content.
right,
It had nothing to do with how she could rap. We all know that these are rap queens that could really rap. So it's
right,
like that's not the problem that we have. And it's like, there are the certain songs, even male artists that we don't like the content of. You don't like
yeah,
the content, you don't like the content. Like
right,
it don't really gel with you. And sometimes like people will say, hey, that's you're clout chasing because you have an opinion. Oh, it's an
yeah,
opinion. And I think in our situation, and I want people to realize that we have producers, A&Rs, we are responsible for millions of records. We're qualified to talk on this shit.
yeah,
Unlike some other people who aren't qualified to talk about it, you see the plaques on our walls. We're qualified to talk about this type of music. We've produced it. We've produced for the greatest artists of a generation.
yeah.
You know,
Classics.
classics. So at the end of the day, we can't talk about. We're qualified to have these type of opinions. Now, other people, hey, you can have your opinions too. You know, but at least in our situation, what we want to do on our platform is have more constructive criticism.
Right.
It's just not like, oh, that shit whack. Yeah, it's just whack. I just don't like him.
Yeah. Like
You got you got a bunch of that too.
we talk about another artist, and we said we just don't like the way he flows on the record. Maybe the words are too close together, or he stumbles over his words, or he's not enunciating himself. So I don't know what the hell he's saying.
Or he's off beat.
It was off beat.
That's a lot of these guys right now. You're off beat, bro.
You're off beat.
You're off beat. I can't catch you on the beat, bro, and the shit don't sound right. It's like you got a delay in your headphones.
Facts.
Like, I don't know where
And
you're
it's not,
recording. Your
it's not a
processor for your computer is not good enough. I don't know what the fuck going on.
and it's not a regional thing either.
Nah,
because
we work with all regions.
Because some people say, "Oh, it's that southern draw." Are you kidding me? No, we work with tons of Southern artists that was
That's
knocking, that was on that had their Southern, and it was on point. Tons. So it's not that.
it's those are cop outs.
Yeah,
And when they put folks try to make it seem like it's regional, and what happens is it gives them a situation where they don't have to improve. Like you have to improve. If you're looking to get to a larger audience, you got to improve. You got to have more appeal.
absolutely.
That's the bottom line. And a lot of artists, they under some the smart artists understand that. Regardless of region,
Hmm.
the smart artists know that hey, if I can enunciate and I'm clear with my words and my melodies, it's gonna go. The smart artists know that. The ones who relegate themselves to a way that they talk because
Hmm.
I'm from a certain region, then you just be a regional artist.
Yeah.
That's all. You ain't gonna have national. You're not gonna have national appeal,
Yeah.
or you're gonna be a parody. People gonna make fun of you, and that's if you want to do it like that, that's up to you. If you want to do it that way, that's they're just like they won't take it seriously. They just think it's just a parody type of record or song. It's the Arkatech Beatz Music Business Podcast, folks. I'm sorry, it's the Arkatech Beatz Podcast.
Yeah.
Going 2024. That's what we're doing now. Make sure you're checking us out at arkatechbeats.com. And like we say, every episode of TU is brought to you by our books, right? Which is the Songwriter's Guide to Song Registration,
Man, these
the
folks.
Musician's Guide to Music Copyrights,
I hope these folks read, man.
the Musician's Guide to Music Publishing, and then the Ultimate Guide to Forming Your Own Music LLC.
Yep. Audio books.
Audiobooks, folks got to get busy with it. More stuff coming out. Make sure you're checking us out at arkatechbeats.store if you need production.
Yeah.
There are beats out there for cats who need those as well.
Yeah, and they're right in the budget too, so you don't gotta worry about the big money. Like we have some affordable beats. Like
It range for everybody at this
yeah,
point. At this
yeah,
point, so it's basically trying to make sure that everybody has that opportunity that we talked about
yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
What else? I hope that Cat Williams can really capitalize off of what's coming next.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
not for nothing, all of their names was mentioned. They should all be able to use this to capitalize off of it. Every name he said has a window to capitalize on this.
what I hope, what I hope he doesn't do. This is what I hope he doesn't do. Is because in what he did for this interview, he's burned a lot of bridges. You know that, and I know that.
Uh-huh.
There are a lot of bridges that just got burned, set on fire, torched, whatever you want to call it. I'm hoping that he's smart enough to have enough independent things set up for himself.
Yeah,
He can leverage for himself.
yeah.
I'm really hoping and praying that he's not,
Rely on
relying on the machine
yeah,
to see his popularity and expect that someone's going to come with a bag, because I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to have to basically find a way to leverage the attention for himself and continue to monetize that, and then kind of use that to continue to promote himself and create new situations. Honestly, you should take every quote from this thing and turn it into t-shirts, memes, cups, mugs, like everything from this interview should be monetized from top to bottom. So I'm really hoping that he has something set up. Um, I know he does. He said he's not one to have anything coming out or promote stuff that's coming out, but I think it would be a huge wasted opportunity.
yeah. And those actors, Terrence and Howard and Taraji, they gotta create some opportunities for themselves, man.
Remember what happens in their situation is that they're so focused on their craft and becoming, the best in their field. I think what happens is that they try to entrust others with that other aspect of their career,
It's old school
and
way of
it's
thinking.
and it's just falling flat.
Yeah,
Yeah. So It is what it is. Again, everybody, thanks for listening. Stay safe out there. It's 2024. Get to that bag. Peace out,
Peace.
everybody.
Arkatech Beatz.